I wanted to give you a bit of a roadmap so you can navigate through the course. This course is meant to be watched from beginning to end. However, if there are only certain subjects which interest you, or you already have some experience, then feel free to jump ahead. Also, I had to change the numbering and structure a bit towards the end, so some of the lesson numbers that I quote may be slightly different. Where possible though, there will be an overlaying text on the videos when I say an incorrect number. Okay, so section 1, the introduction section. The main purpose of this section, as you may already know, is to introduce you to the course, tell you why Swift and SpriteKit might be a good idea for your first game, and also explain the requirements to you. Section 2, we go into the fundamentals of SpriteKit. You'll probably hear me mention this a few times, but this course is based around learning SpriteKit. You'll be witnessing a lot of Swift code along the way, but I haven't actually included videos on learning Swift. The reason for this is there's already a lot of them out there. There's great tutorials. Apple themselves have released 2 or more books on Swift that are really good. There's a whole heap of great resources that are all free. So I'd like to focus this course directly on learning SpriteKit and learning best practice principles for making games. So this section starts by explaining nodes, then it will introduce you to the playground, which is a really handy part of Xcode that will allow you to start coding without having to know too much about the interface. Then you'll get to see a bit of the Swift code for nodes. You'll notice here that whenever we have an animated video explaining something, straight after that there'll be another video containing the Swift code that you will need to write in order to use this SpriteKit functionality. Okay, so after that we go into Introduction to Xcode, so we have a proper look at the interface. If you haven't used it too much before, I'm hoping that you have though. I've also attached to this lesson some Swift code that you can use as a template for your new projects. This is just a very lightweight template. I'll be giving you a more detailed template later on. Then we're going to be talking about some of the main types of nodes you'll be using, so SK node, SK sprite node, SK label node, and SK emitter node. Once again with animated videos to explain it, and then Swift code. Then we go into a few of the important game making principles. So first we'll look at making things move, so performing actions on nodes, and the 3 ways you can do this, so SK actions, the game loop, and physics. Then we're going to have a look at how you can interact with that, so learning how to use controls, whether they be keyboard, mouse, touchscreen, accelerometer, game controller, however you want to control the game. Then we have a look at something a little more complex, having a game design architecture and game design pattern. This is a real methodical way of looking at game design. It'll help you make better games if you learn this from the start. Most other tutorials won't even come close to covering any of this stuff, so this is a great place to start learning about structuring your games properly. Then there's a little quiz at the end. It's only 5 questions, just to make sure that you have the key concepts down. The next section is creating your first game. So I start off here by sharing with you my 10-step process and giving you a bit of detail about it. And this video is free to preview too if you haven't purchased this course and would just like to check that out. Then we actually go through and do those 10 steps. So we design the game, we do our research, build a prototype, we design the game architecture, we source the resources, and in that I teach you how to find royalty-free game assets. I'll show you some of my favorite places to look. I'll show you how to create a title graphic. This will be using Adobe Flash. And I'll show you how to create the game icons, and this will be in Photoshop. If you don't have these image editing software packages, then whatever you do have will do. There's a lot of similar concepts and similar tools between them, so you just have to apply what you learn here to whatever software you prefer to use. I should mention too that for this sample project, a lot of these resources I will actually provide for you. So you won't have to stress too much about creating graphics if that doesn't interest you and you just want to learn the code. Section 4 is all about building the app. And you can see here the second lesson is accessing the course files. So if you have a look in here, you'll find instructions to get all the files that you need. This will include templates, the completed source code, and a few other goodies. And then all the other videos in this section is all in Xcode, writing the code for the game. So we take you from having a template right through to having something ready to put on the store. Okay, and section 5 is all about finishing the app. So this is where we have a look at your marketing process, what to do before you're ready for launch, how to do your testing both internally and with external beta testers. We talk about the product submission and launch event, and then after that I'll show you through the actual process of creating a developer account, provisioning, using iTunes Connect, creating the app in iTunes Connect, and then submitting it to Apple. So I've gone through the full process from learning SpriteKit from the start right through until actually having an app ready to upload on the store. And the beauty of it is, through these videos, if you don't want to use the sample code that I provided, you don't have to. You can go ahead and create your own game. The process is still the same, the steps you'll need to take are very similar, you'll just have to adjust your code for whatever game you are creating. And that's it, you should learn some really important stuff for making games in iOS and Mac. And just to re-emphasize, this will all be cross-platform. So your game, by the end of this, will work on both iOS, so that's iPod, iPad, iPhone, and also Mac, so OS X. And they'll all be within the same project, so when you make updates to your app, it will apply to everything. Okay, I'm really excited to share this course with you. Remember, along the way, if you have any questions, please ask and I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. I want to make sure that every single person taking this course gets to having a completed app in the App Store. That is my goal.